Assalamu alaikum and good morning to everyone, especially to you mom. Before we'll start this video presentation, I would like to introduce first my name. My name is Helen, then did you ask, from BS8 English 3B. The title will be tackled for today. It's all about the need of global competence. Now let's proceed. Number one, for the need for global competence, to live harmoniously in multicultural communities, education for global competence can promote cultural awareness and purposeful interaction in increasingly diverse societies by Brobaker and Latin 1998 and Kemlika 1995, Senator 2007. People with diverse cultures are able to live peacefully, respect and differences. Meaning to say, if we have a global competence, we could have to be avoid or live harmonious, not to be live harmoniously in multicultural communities, in education for global competence can promote cultural awareness. Ibig sabihin, kung titignan natin ay tumatakbo ang usapan sa global competence sa paksa ng cultural awareness na magiging aware or magiging sensitibo sa cultural differences. Thus, education can teach students the need to address cultural biases and stereotyping. This is what we need to address right now. Because our learners are some learners are not concerned and not sensitive when it comes to being a bias culturally and stereotyping others learners. We need to promote this kind of awareness to our learners. So know that we can avoid and eradicate it, if not to eliminate, to at least releasing the cultural biases and stereotyping in atmosphere of our classroom. What is the role of nature to promote global competence? Of course, you need to make more activities that could be developed the cultural awareness. Now let's proceed for the number 2. The number 2, to thrive in changing labor market. Education for global competence boosts employability through effective communication and appropriate behavior within diverse teams using technology and assessing and connecting to the world by British Council 2022-2023. Of course, if we can deploy our learners, our products or our graduate to an international setting, we can say that our education system is improving because our product and our students or our graduates can compete globally. That is why we changed the K-12 curriculum, the category curriculum. We added 2 or more years for us to be qualified and some qualification framework, because we have our Philippines qualification framework, the PQF, or we have also the Asian qualification form to that kind of framework. Our graduate can also be employed to other Australian countries. Then, unlike before, our doctors or engineers and some of our professionals are not being considered or pledged a professional to the other country, because we did not qualification framework international qualification framework. But today, because of the globalization, because of global competence, the demands of global competence, we anchor our curriculum to the international standards so that there is a high chance of employability for our graduate into the international standards. That is the number 2. Now let's proceed for the number 3. The number 3, to use media platforms effectively and responsibly. Radical transformation and digital technologies have shaped young student British Council 2013 people outlook on the world, their interaction with the others, and their perception of themselves. Ibig sabihin, as again, ganito, about now, literacy is the common denominator is always the technology, the information communication and technology So that is why we need to always to promote digital media and other form of literacy, because that is the demands of global market. So that is the number 3. So now let's proceed for the number 4. To support the sustainable development goals, education for global competence can help form new generation who are about the global issues and engage in social, political, economic, and environmental discussion. So meaning to say, the United Nations have its own sustainable development. Good education for global competence can help form now a generation who are about the group or who care global issues and engage in social, political, and economic environment discussion. So this is what we want to develop to our learners, not only the basic literacy, but we aware what is happening the interworld to the engage ourselves to different social, political, economic, and environment concept and discussion. So that is why in I'm so glad to see our learners are very active in social media talking about social, especially political, because here in our country we are about to have electorate this coming. We have observed a lot of comments are a lot of communitaries and a lot of exchange of ideas when it comes to the favored candidates, but is more than that. We should have a kind of idea that our learners able to express, to communicate, and engage into the global perspectives. So that is the number 4. So now let's proceed to the dimension global competence implication in education. So dito is ang focus lang natin is about education or professional education. So education of global competence is founded on the ideas of different models of global education, such as intercultural education, global citizenship, education and education for democratic citizens. So, meaning to say, if you have observed that there are international students who have tried to enroll here in our country, and we have also have exchange students program, and you will be sent to other country and return in exchange. There will be another foreign individual when also study here in our country. Here comes the PESA I mentioned earlier, and so this program international standards of assessment process, it's now perspective so that we can assess the levels of competence of our learners in different countries. So that is the main dimension of global competence in implication education. So now let's proceed for the dimension number 1. Examine issues of local, global, and cultural significance. This dimension refers to the global competent people's practices of effectively utilizing knowledge about the world and critical reasoning in forming their own opinion in global issues. So, meaning to say, that is what we want to develop to our learners, is to become a critical thinker when it comes to global issues. So, number 2, or dimension number 2, understand and appropriate the perspective and worldviews of others. This dimension highlights that globally competent people willing and capable for considering the other people's perspectives and behaviors from multiple views point to examine their own assumption and interests in other with their concept of reality and emotions. So that is why today we have a lot of global issues that issue between conflict in Ukraine and Russia and other territorial dispute like our country, or if we are involved in that theoretical dispute, we should stand firm. Then if we should have our own statements in our own position, you as learners, we should engage them to give their thoughts on those matters. So that is the explanation about the number 2. So now let's proceed for the dimension number 3. Engage in often appropriate and effective interaction across cultures. This dimension describes what globally competent individual can do when they interact with people from different cultures. They understand the cultural norms, interactive styles, and degree of formally intercultural context, and they flexibly adapt behavior and communication manner through the respectful challengers marginalized group. So, ibig sabihin dito sa number 3 is it describe the competence, the global competent individual. So, dito is yung dinidescribe niya dito is kung paano tayo magkipag-interact with the people from different cultures para mas mapapadali nating maintindihan kung ano ba yung mga culture na ginagamit nila. So, because of that is mas mapapadali tayong ma-adapt natin yung mga cultures na ginagamit nila. Then we adapt behavior and communication manners through the respectful and challenges for the marginalized group. Yan yung nasa dimension number 3. Yung kung paano tayo makipag-interact with the people from the different cultures para mas maintindihan natin sila. Now let's proceed for the last number, dimension number 4. Take action for collective well-being and sustainable development. This dimension focuses on giving people roles in active and responsible member society and refers to individuals' readiness to respond to a given local, global, or intercultural issue or situation. It recognizes people have multiple realms, influence, and ranging from personal and local, digital, and global. So, ibig sabihin sa Dimension 4 is nagpo-focus lang sila sa pagbibigay sa mga tao ng roles and active responsible member societies ng bawat isa at para masabi nila sa local, global kung ano yung intercultural issue situation na nare-recognize ng mga tao for influencing reaching from personal and local, digital, global. So, yan yung focus lang sa dimension number 4. Sa lesson number 4, for giving roles and active responsibles ng mga members sa society. So, that is the dimension number 4. So, dyan lang po nagtatapos ang aking report. If any clarification, violation, so maraming salamat po and good morning.